I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys. Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States. The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol.
You gotta talk into the phone, bozo.
He saw the coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tree.
You gotta talk into the phone, bozo.
Our democracy held firm. Within hours, the Senate and the House of Representatives were doing the people's business and certifying the election of President-elect Biden. What a great display of democracy.
You gotta talk into the phone, bozo.
President-elect Biden, we wish you great success as our president. If you succeed, our nation succeeds.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And those who think they can overturn the United States Constitution know this: you will never win.
With Cody, and everybody knows Cody. And so what we're going to talk about real fast is how this unmasking, this game is being played out, and you're seeing all these people, the unmasking of who they really are, what type of grifters they are, what type of disinformation people they are. And these are this is the time people are made of their true grit, of their true character, and their true nature. So Cody, you know about grit and nature. What's your take on it so far? And I'm going to dig some stuff up while you're chatting.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Scott. And, I know you've been censored completely into the Stone Age. And I hope these videos get out. I hope that we heard that Donald Trump signed an executive order against all the censorship, because Twitter took down his whole Twitter account, 88.7 million. This type of censorship to a sitting president of the United States has never, ever happened in the history of the United States. And I talked to someone a little while ago. I have no computer here, no TV. All we've got is this phone. But I talked to someone who watched Nancy Pelosi's interview on 60 Minutes last night, and they said that she was, talking about they're concerned about Trump with his finger on the button, and they took a crew into where her office was, and she was showing them how they were afraid and all this stuff. And I told that person, I said, so they're putting out a message of fear and, scaring everybody that Trump's got his finger on the nuclear button and all this stuff, and he's a madman. And I asked him, I said, how come they're letting the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who's a Democrat, speak on a national TV show, and then they're censoring the sitting president of the United States through Twitter? And so I said, there's something doesn't add up here. It seems like to me that the deep state is fighting for their life right now. It seems to me that all the pedophile rings and the drug rings and the corruption that the deep state has manifested in our country ever since the 60s. You know, Scott, I was in Dallas the day John Kennedy got shot. I was a little school kid, but I've got my own stories about that in my book. But his brother Robert got killed later, then Martin Luther King, and there was a whole spate of assassinations. And my personal belief is that the deep state was performing a coup with bullets, and they killed off some of our most important leaders. And they've been at this game now 50, 60 years. And now what we're seeing, I think, is a coup. It looks like there's a coup, but this one's not with bullets so far. It's just electronic warfare. It's psyops. It's control of the internet, mass censorship, Facebook, Google, YouTube. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, Scott, is reported to have more private security than either Vladimir Putin in Russia or Donald Trump here in America. And so he's afraid of something. The question is, what's he afraid of? And he's got a Chinese wife. Maybe she's a spy. Maybe he's been influenced by the CCP in China. We don't know these things, but Facebook apparently is working with the Democrats and with the liberals, to censor conservative content. So we're seeing mass censorship that's never before been seen. My question is to the listeners, what are they trying to hide? And why are they trying to hide it?
Well,
and I don't know exactly what's going on. I've been retired. I retired in March 1995, about 1 month before the Murrah building went off on April 19th, 1995. And I was offered the job to bomb that building, which I turned down on patriotic grounds. But I think that this coup that's going on right now it's between the light and the dark. It's between the deep state and then the patriots of our country who want to take our country back. The deep state manifests, Scott, like you just said, with the masks. The deep state can manifest as a Republican or a Democrat. They don't care what cover they use, as long as they get a position of power. It might be the Speaker of the House, like Nancy Pelosi. It might be the President of the Senate, like Mitch McConnell is the majority leader there in the Senate. They don't care about Democrat, Republican. They don't care about Christian or Muslim. They don't care about rich or poor. What they care about is power. And I think this is a struggle right now for power in our country. And the Patriots and Donald Trump are wearing the white hat or the white mask now. Doesn't mean they're perfect. It doesn't mean that everything they've done is perfect. But the dark ones are being exposed. And I think that that's why Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are trying to use the 25th Amendment and also to re-impeach Donald Trump. Now, I heard someone else told me that when you impeach a guy twice, a president, then it delays some of his benefits. And that's one reason why they're trying it. So if Trump gets out of office, he can't get certain benefits and stuff. And I don't buy that argument, because Donald Trump didn't take a salary. What does he care about benefits? You know, he's not concerned about money. What I think he's concerned with is bringing a degree of honesty and integrity and light and truth back to our government. The United States government has been horribly, terribly corrupted. They planted me with false evidence and threw me in prison for something I didn't do, just to shut me up about what I know about the Murrah building and the deep state and the Clintons and all that stuff. So, without beating that dead horse to death, right now, what's going on appears to be a struggle. And Scott, I have no idea, dozens and dozens and dozens of calls from all over the country, you know, Florida, New York, all over. And people, some of them are military intelligence. Some of them, like Dr. Greg Ford, he's been nominated for the Congressional Medal of Honor by General Janis Karpinski. He's blowing the whistle on the weapons of mass destruction and all the corruption in Iraq. So we're being lied to about COVID. We're being lied to about the 5G networks. The New World Order people are behind a lot of this. The Communist Party in China has a vested interest in it. So do the Iranians. They don't like Donald Trump because he used that drone strike and killed that general. That general was a very beloved person over there, and they may be exacting some type of revenge. I think there's all kinds of undercover black ops stuff going on as we speak. And the censorship is so high, then it makes everybody think what's going on. And people are starved for information. They're starved for the truth. They're tired of the mainstream media and the lies, absolute, abject propaganda and lies. And so they go to the internet and channels like yours. You know, you had 421 videos took down because they don't want the truth. And now, hopefully, we can get some more information out because we care about our country. We care about truth. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I want our country back. I want to be free. I'm tired of people telling me what to do, and I don't want these Democrats taking our guns or tell us we have to wear a mask or whatever their government draconian controls are. I want freedom, not socialism. I want truth, not lies. I want love, not hate. I want to walk down the street and be proud that I'm American and my kids be safe in school, not that they're going to be kidnapped by a pedophile ring or the CIA or the cartels down in Mexico, the drug cartels, and traffic my children around the world. And I think that what's going on right now is a takedown of some of the pedophile rings, some of the drug rings. The banks are involved, and it's a big struggle between light and dark. And I've been getting intel from all around the country, some military people, some active who don't want their names out, some inactive, and then regular people, you know, Scott, that are just trying to make sense of all this contradictory, conflicting information. You know, in a psychological operation, they use cover. That's cover information that is designed to get people to think that something true is really false. And disinformation is to believe that false is really true. And so the idea is to confuse your mind, and I think both sides are doing that right now. I think there's dirty Democrats out there that need to go to prison. And I think there's some dirty Republicans, too. And they wear the Republican name, and they call them rhinos, you know, but they say they're Republican on their face, and then underneath all of it, underneath the mask you're talking about, they're not. And they have their own interest in mind, not the American people. They're crapping on the American people. And it's time that we stood up and stopped it. And I hope that Donald Trump is, you know, he signed the Insurrection Act, we heard. I've not seen a copy of it myself. But if he signed that, then that's what they're doing. I've heard stories that people are being arrested as we speak. I've heard stories that Guantanamo Bay has a special place for some of these people. We heard about the guy in Italy that made a sworn deposition concerning the servers that were used to hack the votes. I've looked at a lot of the data that, before it got censored. A lot of it's been censored off the internet. But it appears to me that there was definitely voting fraud, and there was definitely a conspiracy to obstruct justice in the people who are trying to get the voting fraud and all the evidence out to the American people. They're using media control to keep us all dumb. Then they're using lies to try to control us. And so this is a historic time, and I'm thankful for an opportunity to be on your show. I've had several other talk show people call me, but they've all been censored, and they're afraid of posting things and being censored. So a lot of them just gave up and quit. Said, why go to all the time and effort to make a video and then have it censored by YouTube or your tweets censored by Twitter or Facebook? So I talked to one person today, Scott, in Connecticut, that had about 4,300 person on their Twitter account yesterday, and now it's been taken down to 3,200 this morning. So they knocked off 1,000, and they've used all manner of shadow banning and everything else. So hopefully we can get some free media, because once the American people see the evidence and they're allowed to speak freely and tweet back and forth and talk to each other, they will see. I believe that there's a lot of evidence for this voting fraud. I believe this United States election was tampered with. I believe that last summer there were planned attacks. There were 97 of our cities in America had riots from Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and 95 of them were Democratic mayors. I believe that this is a conspiracy to create false flag operations in the forms of civil unrest, and then use that civil unrest in the press with media control to blame Donald Trump and blame the Republicans, so that they could drum up stuff. If they'll do that and drum up public opinion against a presidential candidate, will they go so far as rigging the vote and committing felony voter fraud? And in Mariposa County, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, especially in Georgia, I believe there's overwhelming evidence, but we're not being allowed to see it. So the masks hopefully will come off, and I hope that all this can be done without a lot of physical violence or a lot of civil unrest. But if this deep state, the people that Edward Snowden warned you about and had to run to Moscow, the people that Glenn Greenwald warned you about, the people I warned you about, the people that Julian Assange just sat in the Ecuadorian embassy under basic house arrest and then just got released out of England. All the people, the whistleblowers, William Binney, NSA guy, Thomas Drake, I've talked to him, John Kiriakou, all these people that are trying to get the truth out, they're doing it because they love our country. People go, oh, they're just making stories up to sell books. No, they care about our country. They care about our children. And that's what this fight's about, getting the truth out. And if we can do it, and the people get to see here in America what's really going on, I think there'll be a major change. And if the masks come off and all these pedophiles and drug dealers and dark criminals, corrupt officials bribed by the Russians or the CCP or the Iranians, all this will come to light and we'll have a better country. Because if we don't fix this now, we will lose our country, and we're going to slip off into tyranny, and we're going to slip off into deep socialism. So this is the time right now to fight. And I'm glad Donald Trump and the people fighting with him, Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani and the rest of them, are just trying to get the truth out, because this is the most important thing in our lives right now. Our children's fate and our grandchildren's fate hang in the balance right now today. I don't want to talk, forever, but this is extremely important. And if they put Joe Biden in with a falsified election that no one has looked at and no one has checked, then there's probably going to be civil war or violence. And I want to say one more thing before I shut up, Scott. Everyone out there should know that in July of 2019, they put a bill on Mitch McConnell's desk, Republican from Kentucky. And in that bill, there were $775 million set aside to stop voting fraud. And the bill was going to help fund all 50 states, with the mechanisms to set up a ballot with a signature, a paper ballot that could be traced and tracked, not the Dominion voting machines. And guess what? Mitch McConnell sat on that bill and squashed it. You know why? Dominion voting executives and lobbyists gave tens of thousands of dollars, I don't know the exact amount, to Mitch McConnell. And the Dominion voting lobbyists got him to sit on that bill. If we had all those paper ballots with a paper trail, Scott, right now, there wouldn't be any argument between the Democrats and the Republicans. Everyone could look at the evidence, and they could do recounts, and they could come to a agreement. And that's how democracy works. Even if you disagree with your opponent, you accept that they won by a majority, and you transfer power. But that's not what happened here. Mitch McConnell is a criminal. Mitch McConnell is guilty of treason against the United States, regardless what happened with the vote. He deliberately and willfully sat on that bill for money, and now we're in this fix that we're in, where we had 27 or 28 states with Dominion voting machines. The machines have been hacked, the servers, all kinds of stuff happened, and now we'll probably never know the exact votes that were flipped, from Biden to Trump. And so Mitch McConnell set up with his decisions as the Senate Majority Leader. He set this situation up we're in right now, and he allowed criminals to come in and rig our votes. And so Mitch McConnell should be arrested. That man is a traitor, and there's no telling what all else he is. His wife's got Chinese descent, and she also, I think was in the transportation department. She just recently resigned, I think last Friday, her post, which is very strange. But how come our Senate Majority Leader has a foreign wife tied directly into China, where the CCP exists? And how come he didn't, he set this election up? Did the Chinese help rig this election for the Democrats? Whose mask are they wearing? So there's multiple crimes committed, and there's treason and conspiracy in this. And I think that's why Donald Trump invoked the Insurrection Act, because there are members on both sides, Democrat and Republican, who are deep state operatives using their positions of power in the Senate or the House for nefarious purposes. And it has to be stopped. Because if we're going to have a democracy, we have to have transparency.
Well,